This is Life's a Pitch TV. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lackens, all about hearing. Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year, Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation. Welcome to the DPS Tech Arena for this week's edition of Life's Pitch TV, everybody! Oh my goodness me, have we got a capacity crowd tonight. This is as full, I think, as it's ever been. So welcome. Would you like to wave at everybody who tried to get a ticket and couldn't get in tonight? Would you like to do that? Is that a bit mean? Sorry, everybody. Try again next week. Let me introduce to the team. It's Terry Butcher. It's Russell Osman. It's Chambo. We've got Richard, John and Mark on technicals. And our floor manager, she's back this week, Leslie Dolphin. And, of course, now we are a Premier League show. We have a massive crowd in the North Stand, and that is sponsored by John Keeble. No, the Churchman's, even. It's too much. Churchman's Stand sponsored by John Keeble Cars in Bramford. And we have got the North Stand, surprisingly, sponsored by Ashford Wright, everybody. We are on YouTube, so don't forget to like and subscribe, please, if you would. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us, and also Saturday lunchtimes on Suffolk Sound as well. We've got the Table Footy Challenge on this day in ITFC history, and we've got the guy who writes the book with us this evening. Ask the Legends, Player of the Week, and the Renegade Statman every week with ITFC stats that you didn't really know that you needed to know. But as always, we need a special guest. He's got a unique song. It's only Chris Kywomya. Believe it or not, Chris, we rehearsed that. It's nice to hear that again, though, wasn't it?
Very, very nice. Thank you, everybody. Really nice.
Yeah. Well, there was only one song to sing, so welcome to the show. It's been a long time getting you, but you're here now. Fantastic to see you. And we've got lots to get through during the course of the programme tonight. So what do you make of Town's start to the season? Yeah,
good. Listen, back in the Premier League after a long time. Lots of new additions to the squad. A lot of money spent. But, to go away and get a point late in the game last Saturday is really good. So just got to try to build on that now in the next games coming up.
It is 3 games unbeaten, everybody. Which is great, isn't it? Memories of when you were promoted into the Premier League?
Yeah, little memories, but now it's a lot more difficult with the amount of managers, different managers from different countries in the league now. The level's a lot higher now as well. The standard of players that you're playing against week in, week out is a lot harder. But, I think we can do okay. I think we can do well and survive. Good.
Well, we've got lots of time to talk to you about your career at Town and explore that with you as the programme goes on. But let's talk about that 1-1 draw. Russ, you were there. What did you make of it?
I thought we played very well. I thought for the first half hour, even though we went a goal down, we were the better side. Southampton, towards the end of the first half, got back into the game a little bit. I thought one or two of the players was sort of struggling to get a grip with how Southampton played, and they were a little bit on top of us second half, but never really looked like they were going to score again. I know they hit the post, though, didn't they? Which I think we had to look a little bit on with that. And I'd been in a couple of the hospitality lounges prior to the game, and I predicted an Ipswich win 2-1. So, you know, on 90 minutes, I was looking like I was going to have a lot of egg on my face. And
how did that prediction in the hospitality lounges go down at Southampton?
Not very well.
No.
Not very well at all. And to get the equaliser on the 95th minute, I mean, he's great how Morsey just hits the shot and bends it in where it looks like it's a deflection. But great goal, and it just showed you what it meant to everybody. The players and the supporters in that far corner. It's fantastic. Great.
Yeah, some of them are here tonight. Who was there on Saturday? Yeah, some of you here in the crowd. Fantastic. Butch, a good point.
Yeah, very good point. Just shows their resilience. It shows that they fight to the death, never say die, and it's a great attitude to have. But they do play good football, and I think they're finding their feet well in this division. It is vastly different to the Championship. You know, you can lose to every team because they're that good. So if you've got to, you know, the only thing is you've got to take chances when they come along. That's the only thing. But that will come in the game because the confidence will come through with the team. But lost a lot of goals in the first 2 games, only conceded 2 in the last 3. So you can see there's a lot of good communication, good bonding, good understanding. It's only going to get better because this team's never really played before, and obviously with the changes they make. You know, it's going to, you know, it can be difficult, but these players have the right attitude. We talked about this last week and the weeks before that. It's really good to see.
What do you think, Chambo?
I agree with the lads there. Yeah, definitely. What I was going to say, and Butch touched on it there. For the last couple of years, we've won games late on. We've stayed in games. We've nicked points, and to do it now in the Premier League as well just continues that feel-good factor and that sort of character that the team's built up over a couple of years. So I was just delighted that they got a point because we spoke about it last week. It was important. They took something from the game, and in a rival area where they're going to finish in the table this season, it's important not to lose out any points to those rivals. So it's fantastic point all in all.
And Chris, you know, a point away in the Premier League is great, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. Well, as they're saying that, you know, if you can't win, just don't lose, and that was really important in that kind of game. It would feel like a win actually, and Southampton might have felt like a loss. But I think for me to look at it is like, you know, the team. Any manager will tell you that, you know, pre-season is the most important time to bend your, you know, put your rules in how you want to build a team, how you want to play the, you know, out from the back and against certain teams. And the team, a lot of the players came into the squad quite late with all the late additions of the signings. So I think they might take another 2 or 3 more weeks to blend together. But once they do that, once they get that starting 11 right and they get consistency in the starting 11, I think that's
international break hasn't helped with that, Chris, has it? We've just had one and we're going into another one next month.
Absolutely, like, you know, but you know, some of the players will stay, so we'll be able to work with them, but all the international players will go away, so it makes that difficult because they'll come back tired as well. Yeah. You know, so it's a fine balance sometimes, and like I say, I know some managers, but you won't take a job during the season because they need that pre-season to bed down how they want to do.
When you got back into the league in '92. You know, did you try and say, well, try and get the first win as quickly as we can, or did you just play each game as it came along?
You know, I think when we came in there, it was just like, because I think the first few games were quite difficult. It was really like, you know, let's just try and be hard to beat, really, and not give them, you know, not give ourselves like a mountain to climb in the games. And then we took confidence from that because I think for the first few games we didn't get beat at all.
Yeah. That's good. But we've had a tough start, haven't we? I mean, we've got the Villa game coming up, and they're third at the moment, so we'll have played the top team, second team, and third place team, all in the space of the first 6 weeks of the season. You
mentioned late additions, late signings. We're still picking up points, so it's brilliant, and it's only going to improve. What Chris says, it's just going to get better and better for us. And listen, there's going to be tougher times ahead as well, but I think the team's only going to improve over the next 2 months at least, really.
What do you make of the signings, Chris?
Very good, very good. You know, look, listen, if you look at the money that's been spent, over £100 million spent, and I think a lot of the signings are good signings. I think they're players for the future as well, so I think they can build on that. You know, there's a bit of, listen, on the price tag, you know, sometimes comes a bit of pressure, but I think, you know, playing for a manager that we've got at the moment, I think they all believe in him and trust in him, and he gives the players the confidence to go out and do what they want to do. So, you know, I think they'll blossom.
Would you like to be playing under Kieran McKenna?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, I think when we had our team, and, you know, no disrespect, you know, we were quite a defensive team. We were quite a defensive team against a lot of the games, and the way that, you know, Kieran plays, very, very attack-minded, trying to always on the front foot, pressing teams high. So I think that's the kind of manager I would like to play for, and do play for on certain occasions. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously the teams are much tougher in the Premier League than what we're used to. Yet we still feel as if when you're watching it that there are goals in the side and you can't write us off, which has been the story of the last couple of years.
I think that's really important, and it's something that I was looking at the other day. And I think the goals have got to come from all over the pitch. But do you know what I mean? I know certain managers will look, and the centre halves have got to get like 5 or 6 goals. Here's one coming up for set pieces. Midfielders need to try and weigh in, so it takes a little bit of pressure off the front men that are trying to score the goals, because it'll be hard for them, especially when they haven't had the experience of playing in the Premier League before.
I think we'll see some goals from the central defensive players. Do you think, Chamber?
No, I think Chris is right. I think goals have come from all over the side over the last 2 years, and that will continue because we've only added quality in those attacking areas. We've added quality all over the squad. So whoever comes in, look, there's a new centre-half partnership now that's played the last couple of games, and their position is there for them to carry on and play in. But again, they'll be looking to add that threat from set pieces. We've always had a threat from set pieces over the last couple of years, and with Greaves coming in with his size and the way he attacks the ball, it's another option for us to score goals, because you're going to need to score a lot of goals to stay in the Premier League.
We are looking dangerous on set plays, even more
from
so
day
than
one
before.
we have done.
Yeah. So with Greaves coming in, you said he wasn't very tall, but he does attack the ball very well.
Who said he
He
weren't
does it
tall?
very well.
Massive, isn't he?
I had a chat with him the other day, actually.
You were stood on the step.
And
That's all.
He wasn't as big as I expected him to be.
Was that at the golf course? Because he must have been in the bunker. Is that right?
He's funny, this fella.
I must have shrunk then.
I get him on regularly. No, but sometimes you get an impression from people on the pitch about how big they are. You know, and then when you meet him in real life, I think people think, oh, he's not quite as big as I imagined.
I think you forget what a man mountain you are, Mr. Osman.
Oh, yeah.
He's aggressive though, isn't he? He attacks the ball when the ball goes in. And
But Beattie wasn't very tall, but he was aggressive, wasn't he?
yeah, but he could sprint, couldn't he?
Yeah.
I still think he's 6'5". But anyway, we'll have to Google that one.
He used to jump 6'5", didn't he? You know, he could jump like nobody I have ever seen before in my life. He jumped as high as he needed to jump.
Yeah, do you remember David Speedy?
Yeah.
If he could jump, couldn't he? Like he could hang in the air a little bit.
He was a dwarf, but he could jump very high.
Jump, couldn't he? He could.
Yeah.
He was a right pain in the backside to play against him.
He was, wasn't
Real
he?
Yeah, he
pain.
could be, but he could be very nice too. Yeah. But
Oh, he's a good lad, but
When you look at old programmes, which I do from time to time, when I'm, not
Speed
doing
up.
anything else, I get the old programmes out. Beat used to give me loads of programmes when he used to be on Life's Pitch on the radio, and he'd say, yeah, Murph, have these. So I've got loads of his old programmes at home. But when you look at the pictures on there, everybody's
Black and white.
leaping up high for the ball. Their feet are about this high off the ground. I mean, you don't see that kind of shot now when you look in the papers and stuff.
I think now you don't work a lot on heading the ball now because of these the new rules and everything else. You're limited to a certain amount of heading a week, which is really difficult. Because when it's the best thing for me ever to see is not a 30-40 yard strike. Is a header, say like a 10-15 yard header, because it does take a lot of technique to do that. So, there's the art of heading the ball, properly and correctly, and scoring a lot more goals doesn't happen. But they don't actually put a lot of loopy crosses in the box. It's very rarely.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
All the footballing teams now, they all try to play through the thirds. And
do you do that as a manager? Do you say when you get to the byline, when you get as close as you can, do you fizz it across low, or you cut it back? Now there's a lot of cutbacks.
If I was playing against guys like yourself who are really good in there, I'll put low balls in the box, because I know anything high you'll be pretty good at taking. But when you put like 6'3", 6'4" guys, you put low balls into the box. They have to work the feet a little bit more. So sometimes it's who you're playing against on what you try to do. But if you look at a lot of teams now, they play with wingers the wrong way around. So like the winger will be like, the left wing will be right-footed, so the crosses won't come in. And if they come in, they're playing to feet a lot. So that's probably one of the reasons you don't see as many crosses going in the box, because the wingers play on the opposite side.
Yeah, you used to like that little through ball so that you could run onto it and just dink it over the top of the keeper, didn't you?
Yeah.
Didn't do any heading. I saw you get a couple. Yeah,
I've seen a few.
I've done a few
In my time, scored a few headers in my time. When Steve Whitten used to put a few balls in the box for me, and John Watt.
Well, you put a few in for you. They aren't very tall crosses, are they? Very big crosses, because you're not that big, are you?
No.
But you were good in there, though.
But you can always head the ball down there.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time it's about getting across people. You know, getting across people, getting across your defender. Really.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've talked about the Southampton game. Let's talk about Aston Villa in a moment or two. But I want to get your thoughts on the player of the week for Ipswich Town, which is, as always, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. So we've had a real mixed bag. Smodics, Greaves, Delap, Ogbene, Muric last week. Where are you going to start us, Russ?
What a good question that is.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready for this one. I would go for Delap again. I just think sometimes when you go away from home, somebody's got to set the pace and set the tempo. And this lad is working his socks off for the team. You know, right from the word go, he's instrumental in the high press. He'll start that, and he doesn't half put a shift in. He's not as big as I thought he was either. But again, another nice lad.
You've been digging your platforms out from the 70s, have you?
I have, mate, yeah. You can see him tonight.
All right. Butch, what do you reckon?
Well, I only saw the first half because the box, this dodgy box, I was watching it on, conked out. So but I've only seen one thing from the second half, and that was the Sam Morsey shot. So I'm going to say that means a lot to us. It means obviously just 1 point.
Who had the dodgy box?
Don't say it. Just let's move on.
Let's move on.
It wasn't me, by the way.
I couldn't possibly comment, so I'll go for Sam Morsey.
Okay, Sam Morsey. Jambo?
Yeah. Skipper. Yeah. Scored the winner, 95th minute. Don't even care how he played.
Okay.
He can take the plaudits. Last minute equaliser.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, it did feel like a winner when it goes in like that, doesn't it? It sends you away with a real spring in your step. Chris, did you watch any of the game, and can you give us any thoughts on that? Or?
No, I didn't. I was actually at the West Ham Chelsea game.
Yep.
Which is the early kickoff. But I went down on the train down to West Ham, and I saw a lot of Ipswich fans on the train, which was great. A few pictures, few songs. So yeah, and they would have been very happy coming home. I was really happy when I scored in the last minutes.
Were you watching some of your players at West Ham Chelsea?
No.
Let's answer that one.
Yeah.
So the player of the week this week is skipper Sam Morsey, everybody. So well done, Skip. Anybody know the song? Anybody brave enough to start it off? Oh, it's like having a choir in here tonight, wasn't it? My goodness
I really believed in that, didn't they?
Sounds like a cat's choir as well. I've never heard.
Quite possibly, Butch. Quite possibly.
Wow.
We've got a couple of games that have been rearranged. The Spurs and Manchester United games switched to Sundays. Spurs versus Town is the 10th of November, 2 o'clock. Sunday 24th, ITFC versus Manchester United. Kieran McKenna taking on his old team, plus Axel taking on his old team as well. Now, before we talk to you, Chris, a bit more, Leighton has been in touch with us, and he says, congratulations, Chambo, on completing the half marathon on Sunday. He also wants to wish Nathan the drummer all the best because he completed it as well, as did lots and lots of other people. But I think we've got a picture because Leighton asks, what the hell did you have on your feet?
They're a mixture between my running trainers and my missus' high platform shoes. Supposed to
make
give
you
you an
look
extra spring. That's what Russell had on when he saw Greasy.
I did have
Yeah.
They're all the fashion now, I tell you.
Yeah,
really
they're
are.
all the fashion in the running community now.
Are
You
they?
didn't know.
Okay.
You go boing, boing,
Yeah.
They're
boing.
like springs.
Yeah, right. No wonder they called you Skip.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ba-bum.
yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm paid for that.
It was an enjoyable afternoon. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the support was incredible. Obviously, the running club that we're now part of, there was a massive amount of people, 60 odd, did it from our club, and to see them do that from where they were sort of 6 months ago to where we all are now was pretty humbling. So I enjoyed
And
it.
loads of money raised for charity as well. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
we raised nearly $8,000, I think, for
Combat to Coffee.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So brilliant,
Well
very
done.
good. It was worth the pain afterwards.
On behalf of Combat to Coffee, I want to say thank you and your crew as well for what you achieved. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, you're patron, aren't you, Terry?
Yep.
Yep. And Nigel, who runs it, is going to come and join us, I think, in a couple of weeks' time.
A couple of weeks' time, yes.
Talk about events ahead of a game and at Portman Road. So more on that to come. But it was a good event, and you really enjoyed it. Apart from your knees, you were telling me earlier.
Yeah, I think the million miles that I've clocked up playing football finally sort of caught up with me. I'd never had a knee problem before, but about 10k in, they told me to stop. But that's not what I do. So got through it, spent the next 2 days paying for it, but now I'm feeling all right now.
I think the reason he got a million miles in football was because he played right back and not centre half.
That was the last bit, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was just a million miles in a few years doing that one.
When we used to do this on the radio, and Beat was there, and Butch was there, Russell, you were there, and you've both guested before on the radio show. When we played records, it was fascinating. They were the best stories that were ever told in between the actual talky bits. You know, when the records were on, they were really good stories. Some we can repeat, some we can't. But the conversation always ended up on, how are your knees? How are your knees? I mean, Butch, it's classic, wasn't it? You and Beatty together, and Russ coming in, how are your knees, boy?
I think Russell, there was only 2 knees between the 3 of us. That was all. You never got an injury on your knees, did you?
No, they're still there.
Yeah.
Yours are in the bin somewhere, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yours are your real ones, yeah?
Mine real ones.
I'm like Metal Mickey.
How are yours, Chris?
Well, not too bad. But sometimes, listen, when you look back at what we used to do, so like in pre-season, we'd be running up the terracing and hopping up the terraces like one leg, you know, and how's your Achilles and your knees and your ankles? It's crazy, and that was supposed to be like pre-season work. How the game's changed now, and all of us now will probably be playing for longer now with the injury prevention and how they're looked after now. The game's changed so much.
More games, couldn't we?
Yeah, it's changed so much.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leighton also, by the way, comes from Allerton, which is close to where you were born, wasn't it?
Allerton in Bradford.
Allerton, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I used to go to school there.
Yeah. He sends his best wishes. He'll have a pint for you, he says, and he'll be watching right now, so you can give him a little wave if you want.
Good old Yorkshire.
So let's talk about you, Chris. Tell us about how you ended up at Town.
I was training at Leeds United. I was going to sign for Leeds United, and there was a scout called Tony Forthrop who was at Leeds. Ended up going down to Bristol City, and he was leaving Leeds, and he wasn't happy that he was leaving, so he recommended me to another guy, Terry Rose, who was going down to Ipswich, who then brought me down, and I came down and obviously loved it from the first day I was in. I remember seeing Jason and Michael Cole and all the guys that were in, and Darren Atkinson, Mark Brennan, all the young players that were in the team at the time, and I was like, wow, they give the youngsters a chance there, and it was just so funny how it happened. So I came down, trained for Easter, then I had to come back and play in the game, and it was over at Shotley, and I was sub, and I ended up saying, I want to go on, put me on, and they wouldn't put me on, and then he said, right, you're going to go on in like for the last 20 minutes, and as I was going on the pitch, Bobby Ferguson was just coming across the opposite pitch, and he put his umbrella, it was raining, put his umbrella on the ground, and as the ball came over, I tried an overhead kick. I didn't know where it went. When I looked back, it went in the top corner, and Bobby Ferguson looked and saw that straight away and was like, who is that player, by the way? And on the back of that, I think he signed me. he told the youth team, so that's how I ended up. Got a lucky overhead kick, and then I came down, and obviously, Butch actually, I came down in the June or whatever it was, beginning and end of June, and you were just about to move to Rangers. Was it 86? 86, yeah. You come and did a little speech to all the apprentices that were in there, and I remember looking up to going, wow, big Terry Butch.
I think I said you're all doomed.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but I think I said that.
Well, with the squad that he's walked into, Colesy, Dalian Atkinson, who else was there? Yourself,
Mark Brennan, Jason,
Jason,
Ian Cranston.
Yeah. What a squad that was!
Yeah.
Blimey.
Well, we're as good as you guys. We're as good as you guys, but it was good. It was good education. Bobby Ferguson. Listen, he was a tough manager, but I loved him. He's either for him or against him with Fergie. But what a coach, and he kind of like loved me as a player. He loved me as a player, and I enjoyed working under him because he pushed me. He pushed me. He challenged me, and I think I was always like that. It's like when John Lyle came in. He challenged me an awful lot, and I ended up being able to improve under him.
It's amazing when you look back at the influences that you had, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, John Duncan, he gave me my debut against Bradford City. I think that might have been 87, 88. he was a different manager, you know, compared to the rest. You know, he would tell me to run, when John would tell me to stand still and play football, understand the game. But you're always grateful to guys like that who believe in you. Because I remember John selling Dale into to Sheffield Wednesday, and then he put in the paper the next day. He said, "I've got a replacement for him in Chris Kywomya." And I remember thinking, really? I was like, you know, but you know, for him to do that gave me the confidence to think he obviously feels as though I've got a future in the game.
Yeah, people look back at his era and go, "Oh, the Duncan era,"
Correct,
but actually, he was a good bloke, wasn't he?
He was a good bloke. You know, obviously, he passed away recently, and I went to the funeral because he was a good man. And as a manager, sometimes you come in and he just doesn't fit at times. You know what I mean? Sometimes he doesn't get going on how he was, but you know, he always knew that, and I think he had a soft spot for Ipswich Town as well, because he still lived down here for a while after.
A lot of people do like it around here and stay around here. Yeah.
He made his name at Chesterfield, didn't he?
Yeah.
Really, there, you know, and spent a long time working for the LMA, you know, advising managers on the contracts and how to go about the job, you know, and he's a really nice fella, John Duncan. Really good guy.
Yeah. You had a lot of young players there. What was that like? I mean, there was, you're all good mates out of the town, weren't you?
Well, yeah, we used to have a few
Come
scoops
on,
in the
Chris,
town after.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're amongst friends. It's just us. It's just us here.
Listen, we knew how to win and we knew how to party as well at the time, really, you know what I mean? I think Hollywood's got fed up of us by the end, you know what I mean? But no, listen, I think sometimes when you come into a situation with players and you have good chemistry on the field, a lot of the time it's built off of the field, you know, when you go out and, you know, it's like you speak, and, you know, you go for bad patches as well. So, you know, you go for a drink and, you know, sometimes you end up getting a little bit edgy with players, because once you've had a couple of drinks, a bit of home truth starts to come out. But then as long as it's forgotten in the morning and people are sticking together, and that's what he did with us.
We never went out. Honestly, no, yeah, of course we did.
Yeah,
that was
Pinocchio Butcher.
Exactly right. Yeah. First floor club, there we are. Yeah, older people remember
Anybody
that.
remember the first floor club? Yes.
But I think the game's changed now, hasn't it?
Choices.
Like the game changed. You know, players just do social media, don't they, and things like that. But even when I went to Arsenal, you know, it began to change then under Arsene Wenger. You know, when he came in, he stopped the drinking in the players' lounge, and he changed the culture, and all the French boys would go for petit coffee down in Amsterdam. You know what I mean?
Did they?
Yeah, a little petit coffee.
Yeah. You had a good side.
I used to say oui. Because a Yorkshire Frenchman I was, or a Yorkshire Frenchman. You know what I mean?
You had a good side then, didn't you, with Paul Merson in the team, didn't you?
Good drinking team. Yeah, with Tony Adams and Ray Parlour.
They could play a bit of football as well.
Well, I think, you know, that was the thing about that group of players. You know, like they were, you know, listen, they know how to enjoy themselves off the pitch, but then on it they really stuck together and they really had this mentality that they hard to beat. But then the French players came in and the Dutch players and just had a little bit of flair to it, which is like the Dutch players when they came to Ipswich Town, aren't they? You know, we had Overmars and Bergkamp
came in,
Tyson and Muren, which is, you know, and they bring a little bit of je ne sais quoi.
I knew that was coming.
No, but they do. You know, they bring a bit of finesse and guile to it. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes it's about getting that, you know, getting that blending. Even with the players at Ipswich now, it's getting that different sort of players that can come on and add something different at different times in the game.
Yeah.
Nodding away there, Chambo?
Yeah, is it the nail on the head, isn't he? It's just you have to continue to evolve, and the game changed, and Wenger comes in and he changes the culture, but he brings the players that fit the culture. So it's just, continue, either get on board or you're moved on. That's football. So I remember that team well when I was a massive Arsenal fan as a kid, and I remember Chris playing for Arsenal. The fact that I'm sitting next to him now is a bit bizarre. It's like I watched that team evolve, and I watched Wenger come in, and all them players that came with it, and the success they had under that management. It was it's incredible.
How did
really.
the move come about, Chris, to Arsenal?
George had just come in actually in December '94, and I remember I was out of contract. I wouldn't sign a contract. It was getting difficult. It was getting difficult when I was at Ipswich, because I remember we were just going into games just to defend certain games. You know what I mean? I remember we played a game against Wolves away, and I remember we played Geraint Williams as a right winger. George Williams as a right winger in the game, and you know, we were doing things like putting Neil Thompson in midfield. So, you know, and there wasn't, you know, many chances to be created, and I was like, you know, I was a bit like, you know, I needed, you know, players to play me through. Yeah. I couldn't, you know, I needed the ball to be played on the ground. I couldn't really get on end of balls being in the cross. And I was playing with Ian Marshall, who's a really good striker, really good, you know, could score different types of goals. You know what I mean? But a lot of his goals were wide and getting the ball in where he was really good. And we sold Jason, and it wasn't. So I was umming and ahhing about what my next move was going to be, and then I had a phone call. I was out of contract. That Aston wanted to speak with me, and I remember George, speaking with George, and George was saying, "Listen, go down and speak with him, and then come back and speak with us, and we'll try to sort something out." And I learnt that day is like, if you've ever got somebody in the room and you want them, don't let them leave the room. Because once I went down there and I saw Wrighty and Tony Adams and all the big players, kind of like going, wow, and then they show you around the marble floors at Highbury, and it's kind of like, you don't know if that chance will ever come again. So you take the opportunity and see how it goes. And listen, it's a wonderful club. It's a really great club with great players. And, there's levels in the game. All of a sudden there was a bit of a big change in the direction of the club, and they started bringing really top class players in. And you could see it in training and everything. So it was difficult to get into the team.
But that wasn't good for you eventually, was it? Because
it wasn't.
These top players were in the team, and you had to try and get into the team and pass them.
And I think that's the thing. I think, once you're training with him every day and you're seeing him, you're still thinking, I'll get my chance, and it doesn't come. So that's where really, you can make a decision whether you stay. And maybe I stayed there maybe a year too long. But at the end of the day, I learned so much being there and being around it and seeing how these top professional players, the difference, the quality, the way they live. And it only gives you good experience moving on, and I've got to become a manager, and you take all those habits into your management.
What was Wenger really like? Yes,
he would be out on the training ground at 8:30 in the rain, putting mannequins in and setting it up. He was diet. He had people, you'd go back to the training ground, and he'd have people checking your teeth for calcium deficiency and all these, because he'd been over in Japan and they go through all these different health things that they do to the players. He would check everything. He was really different class when he came in, but he was a silent assassin. You know what I mean? He would he met the tough calls when he get rid of players. He would, and he did it over the years, a bit like how Fergie was with his players. When it comes time to go on, you go. He moves you on.
No foul of that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
No,
and so you were watching this then, Chambo, this wonderful team that.
I remember. I used to had a VHS and watched it over and over again. It's like.
Do you want to explain to younger viewers what a VHS is?
Yeah. So it's like a DVD. You don't even know what DVD is now. We used to have a physical tape. You put it in, you press play, and it shows you.
Was that old? Was that old with the VHS? But no, he would have been looking at like Nicholas Anelka coming in and Overmars and Dennis and Emmanuel Petit, Patrick Vieira. There were some really, really top quality players.
Well, Bergkamp was the first one to come in, wasn't he?
Yeah, he came in.
He came with Bruce Real,
under Bruce, under
Bruce,
did Dennis, and they were like promised him all these different things, and he would in the first year. But then when Aston came, he's like, "Just stick with me. I've got you." You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was an interesting one though, wasn't he? Because every European fixture they had, he would not play because he didn't fly.
Yeah. Or sometimes what he would do, he'd get on a coach
and go
on the Monday. Then the coach would be taking him down to.
Wenger said he sort of proved himself by bringing somebody like Patrick Vieira over.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people unsure about Wenger in those days, and then he brought this lad Patrick Vieira.
Well, Patrick came before him. Patrick came September '96, I think it was, and Aston came October. So I used to look after Patrick, and funny enough, when he was making his debut, he said to me, because I was in France at the time, "Will you come and watch me play my debut?" And he made his debut against Holland. And I went down and watched the game with him, and Dennis played for Holland, and obviously Patrick played. But you could see with Patrick the first day in training, he was unbelievable. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was like really 6'2", 6'3".
He was a big lad as well.
He was bigger than he looked.
Yeah. But technically, he was different class, and that was the difference. But I remember he got sent off the first few times, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "This is the English game. I thought it was supposed to be physical."
That was
French.
really good French. So good, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's got to be worth a round of applause.
Is that Steve McLaren?
Steve McLaren French. That was,
yeah. But no, he was trying to say, look, it was supposed to be the physical game, the English game. So why are we not allowing the physical tackles that I'm doing?
But it's physical and physical. He was a bit over physical at times.
Yeah, definitely.
A very skillful player, but big.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brilliant.
Richard's here. come up to this front microphone, Richard. You're clutching a book there, aren't you? Tell us about this book.
I am, Mark. It's what it is. It's a historical record, a history from 1938 of Ipswich Town, and in it contains newspaper articles on every event, if you like, that Ipswich were made famous for. And I would like to pass that across to you as part of memorabilia. But what I've also got is an original scarf, and I don't know whether anybody has any clue as to what that might be.
Well, let me take that and open that up for you.
Oh, you're going
to... This is an original scarf, and it does happen to say on there AZ67 Alkmaar. Oh. Okay, so that is a pucker scarf of the time. Silk on one side, woolen on the other.
Yes, absolutely. And that
what year is it from?
81.
81.
That's unbelievable.
I've also got something in common with Terry and Russell. I was coached by Bobby Robson. I was at Ipswich School between 1970 and 79, and in 76 there was a schoolmaster called Derek Wyatt, who eventually became an MP, but he actually was a rugby international for England, and he knew Bobby Robson. And Bobby Robson was invited to come up to the then Valley Road school grounds, and he taught various sets of rugby. So I had a number of sessions being taught by him. But it was rugby, not football. So that was a surprise.
No difference in
Butch played rugby. That's how you used to play, Butch.
I mean, you played rugby as well, Butch, didn't you?
No, Russell was the one that played real rugby.
Right. No, I mean bruising rugby rather than real rugby. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I thought Southampton played rugby on when we played them. I thought they'd replaced Leeds.
Bit physical. And there's also a bit in there about Chris, and there's a picture there of the champions of you going up. Talk to us about what that was like for you and the boys going up that season to the Premier League. Yeah, please do. Yeah, pass it over there. Take it over there. And there you go, Chris. Some nice pictures in there of various different eras. But that picture, we've got it down here actually, I think, as well, of you going up. Fantastic moment in your career, wasn't it?
I think. Hey, listen, you look back on your career, because at the time you don't really appreciate, what's going on. It's like a little whirlwind. And the start of the season, we didn't start off particularly well. The start of that season, I didn't think we lost a couple of games early on, and then even getting over the line towards the end was a little bit. But I remember Southend away when Neil Thompson scored the winner. I don't know. I think we remember that game, and then Phil Whelan scored at Southend, and then Oxford. We actually went up at Oxford, didn't we? And then this was the last game of the season against Brighton? Against Brighton. It was some atmosphere really. And, I remember we prayed the trophy before the game, and we were just really high during the game, and then after we celebrated, went into town, and yeah, really special moments for the fans. All the fans came on the pitch, and it was funny because I was there for the last game, obviously, of the season when we went up, and it brought back memories of when we did it back in the day. So yeah, really special time.
Yeah, amazing. Give them a round of applause for that fantastic era. I mean, it's great. I can see pure joy in your face when you're looking at that picture.
Well, yeah, because I look back and I think to myself, I think Ipswich fans are very, very special. I came down here and I still live locally. Butch and Russell have all come back as well and lived here. I think Chamber, you're here now, aren't you, as well? So that it just goes to show how much of a warm place it is and how much the connection between the fans and the players are. It's really good and it's a really special bond.
Yeah, but you're looking at that picture, aren't you? And looking at Jason and seeing how he's aged and how Walker's aged and he's got no hair and how Mills hasn't got any hair now. And you're thinking, I look all right there. Aren't you? Be honest.
I think he looks older in that picture, to be honest.
I
thought you were bigger than that.
I think that's all of you, All of you, Yeah. No, but nice. That's nice to hear from you.
You're wearing well, mate.
I'm hanging in there. Yeah. Very well.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Right. Charles Collins, who used to be the BBC Radio Suffolk football commentator, Aussie Charles.
Yes.
Sent me a Facebook message. Wants to send you all the very best.
I love Charles. After one of the games, I got to tell you, after one of the games, midweek games, it would have been 1990 or something. He came back and he was doing an interview. I think it might be for Radio Suffolk. I don't know.
Yeah, it
what
would be for Radio Suffolk.
Radio Suffolk it was, and he was like, so after I finished the interview, he said to me, "What are you doing now?" I said, "I'm going to go home now and watch Prisoner Cell Block H."
Yeah.
And he went, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch Prisoner. You know, do you remember Prisoner Cell Block H?"
Yeah.
I used to watch that at night in my bed. And he was like, "Oh, my wife's in it." and his wife was Queen Bee, who was the meanest, you know what I mean, lady in there. And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Really? Oh." I said, "I want to meet her. Can I get an autograph?" And he couldn't believe I wanted to get her autograph. So we ended up being friends like that, and ended up going out to
The
see
very
her
first day
and
I walked into that building, she was coming down the staircase, and I watched Prisoner Cell Block H as well. And I went, "Please, come past."
yeah. Don't hit
She
me.
was fearsome.
Don't hit me.
Good days, though.
Brilliant.
Good
Yeah,
days, really good
Charles,
days.
good guy.
And he'll be pleased to hear that story as well. Yeah. Right, time to test you out, boys. It's time for this week's Ask the Legends, sponsored by Seckford Golf Club. So, our question this week, there's no Simon or Tony this week, so I get to do this. Our question this week is for Russell and Terry. At the moment, the score stands, I believe, Terry 2, Russell 5. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm clawing my way back in.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm getting there.
And our question this week involves our special guest, Chris Kywomya. So you can either help Chris or hinder. Chambo, feel free to heckle from the sidelines and see if you can work out the answer to this question. Our question this week is, in the 1992-93 season, Chris Kywomya had 38 appearances, but how many goals did he score? So in the 92-93 season, Chris Kywomya made 38 appearances, but how many goals did he score? Who wants to go first? I hope you haven't made notes about his career in your books over there, because it looks like you have.
It's cheating.
No, no, at all.
Yeah,
not at all, no.
A bit of cheating going on here.
No, not at all.
Do you want to go first
Well,
then?
we're not
Watch?
making notes about you, Mark. You know, we're not.
Well, I have made notes.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
My notes might not be correct.
Well, we'll see.
So in the 1992-93 season,
Yes, 38 appearances. How many goals did he score?
He was top
17.
scorer.
17.
17.
You're both saying 17.
No, that was an echo.
what happens if both of us say the same one?
He can't say that. You're first.
Well, the rules,
interested to-
the rules when we started.
Okay, you're
Chamber.
going for 17, are
You
you?
can't go the same answer every week, can you? You never have a winner.
No.
Well, he was
You
leading.
would now.
He was leading goal scorer the season before, weren't you? He was. Yeah, was that in your notes as well?
That was 19, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it might be. Is that right? 19.
Yeah. With the man
So
here, I
my
hope
notes,
this
so
is
my
right.
notes could be right then. I don't know. Yeah.
What are you going for, Russ? Higher or lower?
Lower,
Ooh. Okay.
15.
Okay. Can you remember what it was, Chris? The answer I have here is 10.
Be careful how you answer this.
League goals.
Yes.
Oh, league goals.
Oh, that wasn't the question, Mr. Murphy.
10 then.
Move the goalpost, Mark. For goodness sake, why don't you?
Shoot the question, Master.
Stewards.
Well, come on.
You didn't clarify.
Goal scorers always count them all. Including training.
What
Is
would
that
it have been?
including
All of them? No training ones. What would it have been then? Can you remember? There's a lot resting on this, Chris, between
Yeah.
these two.
Yeah, and Terry's closer to you than I
Yeah,
am.
16.
It's a point to Terry Butcher then.
What did you say?
15.
Well, how come?
That don't make sense.
17 is closer to 60 than 15 is, so we're going to give you the point.
Why is it then? How is it?
Did he say 16 or 60?
Blooming hell, Mark. You're all right, mate. He didn't score 60 goals, did he?
16.
Did he score 60
Well, I
goals
thought he
in
was counting
38
training.
games?
I'd have been at Real Madrid.
I thought he was counting
16.
training and said 60.
The score
another
is now
question?
5.5, 2.5.
Okay.
It
5.5, 2.5, everybody. Well done.
Actually, sounds like every golf match I play against Russell. To Russell, 5.5, 2.5.
Right, time now, Chris. Put your book down, put your microphone down. It's time for our Table Footy Challenge, sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics. So this is how it works.
I can't really help you, Chris, because I'm top of the leaderboard, so I wouldn't want to do myself.
Other side, Chris. Other side. So each week, our guest, and that's you, Chris, has 60 seconds to see how many goals they can score against two England internationals. Now, you can go solo, or you can pick a member of the capacity crowd to help you out. What do you want to do, Chris? Solo or capacity crowd? And you can't pick Chambo because he's top of the leaderboard with 5 at the moment. So
On my own, Chris.
you want the volunteer from the capacity crowd?
Yeah, to help me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to volunteer and help Chris? Come on then, Catherine. Yeah, come on. Here we go.
Just do what David Linekin did, right? Just stay there and head it.
Just head the ball. So you've got 60 seconds. This is how it works. You've got 60 seconds. It's about the goals you score against the boys. Yeah. Oh! 1-0.
Hey, I've got 18 goals now.
1-0 to Chris and Catherine. Playing a cagey game there out from the back at the moment. Oh, was that 1-1? Oh, 1-1. Okay, 1-1 already. It's how many goals you can score, so keep it down their end. It's close, it's near. It's kicked away from the goalkeeper. Butch and Russell. Whoa! Oh, yes. 2-1. 2-1. There was a bit of spinning, but it doesn't matter. 2-1. Chris has still got it. 2-1 to Chris and Catherine at the moment. 2's a good score.
Good block. You're better than David Linekin.
Yeah. It's an end-to-end game. Yeah, it's a good game so far. Still 2-1. Shot from defence. Come on, Chris. Come on, Chris. Get one in there. Go on. Get one in. He's lining it up. He's lining it up. It's gone out to the right wing.
Long minute, this.
Oh. You'll be pleased to know, Chris, that you got a better score than John Walk, Alan Judge, and Jason Dezell.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that.
I'd have to be. There's no VAR there, was there? Because there was a definite spin there. I'm sure.
Did anybody see a spin?
No.
I didn't see a spin, Butch. No.
Well, thank you very much, capacity crowd. Go and pick a door because you're leaving in a minute.
Now, the Renegade Statman's been in touch, and he's not here this week, but he has an interesting question here. Sam Morsey's 95th minute goal was the latest goal we've scored in an away game that's rescued a point or secured a win. Okay, that's since August 2019, when Luke Chambers scored a 94th minute winner, equaliser rather, should I say, against Peterborough United at London Road. Can you remember that late equaliser?
To compare both of them is not really ideal for me right now, but yeah, I do remember it well. It was a big game at that time. They were at the top of the league as well as us, and somehow they'd gone 2-1. I think Ivan Toney was playing for him at the time, and he'd scored a good header. But yeah, it was a near post corner, I think, taken by Idris El Mazouni, and snuck it in. I just remember about 50 people come falling down the stairs trying to get onto the pitch, and yeah, it was a great way to sort of salvage a point. But again, they've salvaged a point at Southampton in the Premier League. We were at Peterborough in League One, so thanks for bringing that one up.
No, don't blame me.
A goal's a goal, though.
A goal's a goal.
I think I remember, did we play down there? Was it 92, 93 or 93, 94? And we got beaten. I think I scored, and then they scored against Southampton in the 93rd minute. Anybody know? I need to look back on that one.
Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. He was
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Dell.
The old Dell, mate. We got beat 4-3, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we watch it. We're deflated when it goes against us late on. You know, we feel it. But what's it like when it happens to you, Chamber? Has it happened once or twice? That?
What, when you get pegged back?
When you get knocked back, yeah. You
the
lose
worst.
late on.
Yeah, if you lose or draw late on, and you're just either hanging in there or stuff. Yeah, it's the worst feeling in the world. You can't really explain it. It's just.
As a striker, I'm coming and looking at the defence going.
Yeah. And then, exactly. And then us back four in the goal, you're looking at the strikers on because you scored those chances for us.
And if you're in the defence, you're looking at the keeper going, You've done nothing, all go nothing. Come on. You've got one job.
But the other way around, if you are, doing that, and Town have done that a lot over the last couple of seasons, I mean, it's just fantastic feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, the confidence and belief and camaraderie that it brings, and if you're doing it on a regular, you feel almost invincible, and that's what I think that the club feel like and the players feel like at the minute. And if you can continue to do that as often as they have done, it's just
there's nothing like a winning dressing room to provide extra bonding. And even if you score late on to salvage a point, that's like a win, as we've all said. So you're looking at going on a bonding trip and going doing this and playing this, going to a bar or whatever we used to do, but winning and not losing, especially late minute, is the perfect.
Yeah,
the perfect way.
the perfect
We went through a
thing
spell,
is that-
didn't we? Where even if you went a goal down early on, you just thought, all right, come on, lads, like kick it into gear and let's get going. And suddenly you get back all square, you get a goal up, and you think, why make it so hard for yourself? Just get the job done.
If you get certain managers and they think about the psychological point of in games and in training, you can process the brain to do that. So you can put games down like that. Well, I know Aston used to play with like 10 players. So like if you went to a game, the last 10 minutes of a game, you'll be playing with 10 players. You can do it in games where, if you score a goal in the last, manager will say, right, like playing for the last 3 minutes, but one goal counts as free. So now, if you lose in the game, so you're just putting all these little...
How to manage the game.
Yeah. You put little triggers in the mind of the players, right, up another level now. Really go for it all.
Well, I used to do that when I was a manager, very briefly. So I was a brief manager, but and it was like I didn't in one game I went down to 8 players, but I never actually prepared for 8 players. Funnily enough or not.
No.
And so we were down to 8 players, and there was still 20 minutes left. So it's 8v11. We're losing about 4-0. And I'm screaming at my players, get sent off.
Yeah, because
then the game would have been abandoned. Well, we've got a heavy fine right enough, but I mean, we wouldn't have lost the game.
Yeah.
So that's quite a unique place to be.
It is.
Why were so many sent off then?
It's the manager's image, wasn't it?
I told them to get stuck in,
a little bit.
and they took my rules or instructions right.
That's what they did
to the
in
furthest
training.
point. Yeah. It was good fun though.
Otherwise, you're going to slap them.
Yeah, if they didn't get sent off, I would have hooked them. Yeah.
Right. Now, look, it's time for our On This Day in History, sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics. And this week, would you please welcome the author of the book, Dan Botton's here. Come on, Dan, come and join the legends on the sofa. So for the last umpty months, we've been reading books out of quotes out of your books. Put that microphone right up to your chin there. What's been the inspiration for writing these?
Well, the first time I wrote them was 2010, the Marcus Evans, Roy Keane era. And then
Any reaction from the crowd at that era?
Ambivalence.
Sorry, Luke.
And then watched Life's a Pitch, and I was thinking of updating it, because football comes and goes, it's ups and downs. It's not always about the glory days, and as that book will prove. And then I saw Russell reading from it on the show, and I thought, right, that's the impetus to finish it off. And so it's updated until the bus parade after promotion to the Premier League, from 1878, from the foundation of the club all the way up. So it's been brilliant to watch these two read from it.
Do you want to go for it, Russ?
I thought it'd be nice to hear from the author himself, Mark.
That's a nice idea, isn't it?
What a good idea that is.
Yes.
So,
right,
anything from there, even the same day today.
The day today, you two played in this game, and it was an Ipswich record. 25th of September 1982. Town manager Bobby Ferguson won his first match at the 7th attempt as bottom of the table Town crushed Notts County in dramatic style with a 6-0 mauling at Meadow Lane. And the win still stands as a joint record away win for Ipswich.
Very good.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do, somehow. Yeah, there's a story behind that, but we can't go into that at the moment.
Oh, Russell.
That's a shame. Oh, well. For another time.
If it had been a 6-0 defeat, it might have been more appropriate scoreline.
and actually, funnily enough, another record win 20 years before then, 25th of September 1962. Town crushed Floriana 10-0 at Portman Road in the European Cup preliminary round. Town's biggest European victory saw Ray Crawford become the first Town player to score 5 goals in a match. So the 25th of September is a pretty unique date. And actually, Chris, I was researching a little bit about you before. You mentioned your debut at Bradford when you came on as a sub. 24th of September 1988, so 36 years ago. That was your Ipswich debut. And if you do remember, that's when I first started watching Town. 87, 88. Football was a bit different then. I used to watch you boys under Duncan. Your first goal, do you remember your first goal? Not long after. Walsall, 4-2. And then your first goal at Portman Road, not long after that.
Stoke, Nick Mills.
Ipswich 5, Stoke 1.
Sergei Baltacha.
Sergei Baltacha, if any of you remember him. The first Russian player to play in England.
Yes.
That was your first goal.
Yeah, it was.
So, I mean, I'm a bit of a stato, as you've probably worked out.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't need the book.
But I mean, yeah. But yeah, there's a tremendous book called The Men Who Made the Town. You can't buy it anymore, and it's pre-digital, and it's an unbelievable book. And I just started reading that and just found out so much about the club. And
so it's light blue colour and cover, isn't it? About that thick.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable book, and it stopped about 87. So
yeah. Well, look, thank you very much for doing what you've done. It gives us a 5-minute slot on the show every week, which we enjoy.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Dan.
And it's fantastic because we've got such a rich history, haven't we, as a club?
Yeah, I mean, just to finish off, we've got Norwich to talk about. Do you know what? Like Norwich. The participants put in. They put in their programme that they once reached the UEFA Cup quarter-final. We've got a lot of history, and I think we should be very proud of it. And there's always more to come.
Fantastic.
Can I just say, you could say for Norwich, right? They can say actually on this day in history, nothing happened at all.
Oh, there's the page. Fantastic. Dan, thanks ever so much. Thank you. Stay sitting there, mate. Stay there. You might as well stay there now. We're running out of time. The Ipswich Town women's game was called off for a waterlogged pitch, but we do have the Man v Fat results. Another successful week for the Man v Fat lads with a 21.3 kilogram loss. Big news this week is that we've been invited to take part in a charity match under the lights at Woodbridge Town FC on October the 11th. Our opponents will be SAND United, which stand for Stillborn Neonatal Deaths, and these are a group of guys who have all been directly affected by losing children and have come together to support each other. And you've been involved, Butch, in that.
I've been the manager, yeah.
Are you manager again?
No.
Oh.
No, but I will be when they ask me to
Right.
do it. I will do it, yeah. But I haven't won a game yet so far, so perhaps they don't want me back.
God
I don't
hasn't
know.
come.
He said brief history manager, didn't he?
It is because well, we know what it's like to lose children.
Yeah.
I was a bit young, but a bit older, but these they have them at pre-birth and obviously after birth and all that, so there's problems. So it's a great cause, and they are a great team, and they really give it a go. So if anybody can go along, then that'd be great.
Yep, October the 11th. So, whilst talking about the 11s, we need to mention that the guys travelled to Norwich last week and romped to a 10-3 victory. With striker James Baldwin netting 4 times. So well done, James. This week's results: Borussia Mönchengladbach 10, Galatasaray 7. The Red Hot Chubby Fellas 11, Ivory Toast 13, Wycombe Waddlers 13, the Red Cat Funts 2, Dynamo Kebab 7, L'Argentina 4. Their end of the Man v Fat results, and best wishes to Town on Sunday. Chris, it's been a delight to have you here. You come and join us again at some point?
Absolutely, really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Really enjoyed it.
Really good to see you. And we've had a message asking whether you fancy putting your boots on and giving a go back at Town now, because you look fit enough, actually.
No, listen, I like what I see on the pitch at the moment. They're too good for me.
And tell us what you're up to right now.
Head coach for the British Virgin Islands men's national team. So we've done that. We just qualified for the World Cup playoffs. So we play against Jamaica next June. So pray for us, please.
Did you know the population of the British Virgin Islands is just a little bit over the capacity crowd at Portman Road?
31,000. Yeah,
31,000.
Right.
It's a
Amazing.
beautiful place, though, and then good people. But you get these you get on these journeys in your life, and if you love coaching and improving players and love challenges, it's great. And I've got some wonderful places, Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos, so I can't complain.
Do you want us to go out
A lot
with you?
better than Bradford, you know what I mean?
I think we should do. I think we should do Chris's second appearance, probably from the British Virgin
Yes,
Islands.
yeah.
We could arrange that.
Chambo.
Yeah,
Have a quick
so
vote.
we'll look into that. Everyone in?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, do you know what? Hey, I could play free at the back with these three, couldn't I? I'll be all right. No goals there.
Give everybody a round of applause. Chris Kywomya. Don't forget, if you'd like to be part of the Capacity Crowd, go to lifesapitch.tv. It says Capacity Crowd at the top, and you can apply there. And if you're quick enough each week, then you'll be part of the Capacity Crowd. A lot of people I know are trying to get in this week, especially to see you, Chris, this week. So well done for attracting a wonderful crowd tonight, and commiserations to those who couldn't get into the crowd, but keep applying and we'll get you here one of these weeks. Check out our socials for what we're up to. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button and subscribe, please. It really does help the channel no end. We'll see you next week. Good luck to Town on Sunday against Aston Villa, and I'll leave you with Blue Army! This has been a Life's a Pitch TV production. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lakens, All About Hearing, Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation.